Welcome back. This is Caiden from Tier 1 TCG. Today we're going to be ripping a box of Obsidian Flames. I just so happened to win this box from the Peoria Regionals. we're going to rip it and see, and hopefully the Pokemon Company gives us something good and not awful stuff. Let's begin. Our first pack we got here. Dolliv, Timple, Surskit, Numel, Wugtrio, Kangaskhan, Whiscash, Tadbulb, Revered, a fuller Geeta. I always pull tons of these in like the Scrotum of Obsidian Flames format, and we got a full art of it. So there it goes, and on to the next one. Now that's where we have a Spoink, a Tynamo, a Surskit, Darumaka, a Solrock, a Houndoom, a Granbull, a Sporink, a Herdier, and a Scizor. Scizor is kind of interesting because it has the attack Punishing Scissors, which is 10 plus 50 damage for each ability that the opponent has in play. So, in an ability-heavy format, this card could see some play in like Lost Zone Box or Zoro Box, if that ever exists. There we go. On our third pack, we have a Greavard, Dynamo, Phantump, Vulpix, Floatzel, Umbreon, Lapras, Abominable, Heatmore, and a Claydol. This Claydol has an interesting attack called Kaboom Doll, and basically your opponent goes down to 10 HP, and it knocks itself out. I mean, like, could be interesting someday if somebody decides, hey, I'm just gonna hit everybody. I'm gonna hit everybody, and basically knock them out with poison damage. And like, could be interesting someday. Could be interesting. Next week, all right. In our fourth pack, we have a Froakie, a Bonsweet, a Vulpix, a Phantump, a Malamar, a Grumpig, a Clodsire, a Greavard, a Blossom, and a Toxtricity. This Toxtricity has an attack that's niche, but maybe you could see some play because it's a single prizer. See what we got next. Next we have a Froakie, a Darumaka, a Weasel, a Bonsweet, a Marisquan, a Gumjuice, a Pupitar, a Beartick, and also a Varoom and a Toedscruel. This Varoom evolves into two different evolutions, a Revavroom and Revavroom EX. The Revavroom from Scarlet and Violet says that if you discard an energy card from your hand, you can draw a card so you have 6. And the Revavroom EX has the ability Tune Up, which says you would have up to 5 tools on it, which is interesting. Also, this Varoom has the attack Spinning Draw a card for 10. This Toedscruel is also interesting because it has the ability Protective Mycelium, and you have to prevent all effects of abilities, all effective attacks used by your opponent's active Pokemon to your Pokemon that have energy attached. Also has the attack Calling Rush, 80 plus 40 for each grass energy attached to all your Pokemon. It matters because, also back to the Toedscruel, it matters because there's a card called Sableye, which has the attack Lost Mine, that if you have 10 cards in the Lost Zone, you can place 12 damage counters wherever you want. This card basically stops that attack from happening to your Pokemon that have energies. So it could be, if a deck is really weak to Sableye, they might play this card in hope of stopping Sableye. Our next pack we have Wooper, Weasel, Smoliv, Baroon, Trevenant, Bellybolt, Flamigo, Snubbull, Lunatone, and a Geeta. Lunatone is interesting and could see play one day because it has the ability New Moon, and it says if you have Soul Rock in play, prevent all effects of any stadium cards under your Pokemon in play. That stops Path to the Peak, which says that all of your all Rulebach Pokemon in play have no abilities. So in a deck that's really weak to Path, they might play that in hope of stopping Path. And that's why we have a Magnemite, a Larvesta, a Rowlet, a Bunnelby, a Togekick, a Ninetales, which is the attack. And this one is interesting. It has the attack Nine-Tailed Dance, which is you put 9 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon and then during your next turn, this Pokemon can't attack. Basically, it's a Sableye that's worse, but you can use it on your second turn, going first. So it's interesting. Now we have a Poltergeist, a Toxtricity, a Charcadet, and a Thundurus. This Thundurus has the ability Adverse Weather, which is that as long as it's in the active spot, prevent all damage into your bench Pokemon from attacks of your opponent's Pokemon. So, it's not as good as a card called Manaphy, which basically has the same effect, but it doesn't have to be in the active. But it could come in handy when Manaphy rotates in a year. On our next pack. And on our next pack we have a Salandit, an Electric, a Larvitar, a Magnemite, a Bronzong, a Beartick, a Charmeleon, an Inkay, a Dynamo, and an Entei. So Entei has the ability Pressure, which basically just lets it take 20 less damage. Not that good. It also has the attack Blaze Ball, which for 3 colorless energy does 60 damage, and then you do 30 more damage for each fire energy attached. So basically, if you have 3 fire energies attached to it, you're doing plus 60 damage, and that 60 plus 60 equals 120. Sorry, I meant to say it's 20 for each fire, not 30. Alright, in our next pack, we have a Smoliv, a Pidgey, and this Pidgey is the best Pidgey in the format right now because it has 60 HP. So if you have a 70 HP Pokemon paired with it, both of them can be knocked out by Sableye. Also, its Stage 2 evolution, Pidgeot EX, has the ability Quick Search, which says you can search your deck for any card, but you can only use 1 Quick Search every turn. Basically, you can't have 2 Pidgeot set up and use them both in one turn. It's just not allowed. Then we have Combi, Baroom, Toedsquirrel, Solrock, Dugtrio, Seismitoad, which has an interesting ability called Quaking Zone. And it says, as long as Pokemon is in the active spot, attacks used by your opponent's active Pokemon cost 1 colorless more. Now this ability could be interesting one day. It could be interesting right now, technically, because you can make Sableye's energy cost Psychic colorless because of its ability, and it can stack, which means you can have multiple of it in play. So if you have 4 Seismitoads set up, last mine would take 5 energies to use. Then we have Togepi and another Claydol. And on our next deck we have an Eevee, Toedscool, a Houndour, a Combi, an Excadrill, a Pidgeotto, a Dragonair, a Wishcash, a Glimmet, and a Darkrai. This Darkrai's not all that good. And on attack, we have a Larvitar. Ooh, a Cleffa. This Cleffa is a very interesting card because of his attack, Grasping and Draw. The attack, Grasping and Draw, for no energies, says draw cards until you have 7 in your hand. Now, this card would be very good. Unfortunately, Sableye exists, and Sableye's lost mine because it only has 30 HP. Can make this thing off very quickly. So once Sableye rotates, which will be in about a year, maybe 2, Cleffa will probably play in every deck. Then we have an Inkay, a Toadschool, a Houndstone, a Diggersby, a Camerupt, a Weasel. Ooh, an Alt Art Ice Q EX. This is a pretty cool looking art, but also, it has the attack Scalding Block, which says you discard for 3 energy. It does for 3 water energy, does 160 damage, and it says discard an energy from this Pokemon during your opponent's next turn. The defending Pokemon can't attack. Also, it's a fire type, and it has that Atera effect that says as long as this Pokemon is on the bench, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon, both yours and your opponent's. Which means that both you and your opponent can't damage the Ice Cube. We also have a Togekiss. And this Togekiss has an interesting ability called Precious Gift, which says at the end of your turn, before you attack, you may use this ability and draw cards to have 8 in your hand. Now, most of the time, this would be very good. Unfortunately, it is a stage 2, which means unless you want to evolve it 3 times from a Togepi to a Togetic, all the way to a Togekiss, you have to use a card called Rare Candy, which lets you instantly evolve from basic to stage 2. Unfortunately, it's very difficult to pull off candy plays, so maybe someday when the format slows down a little bit, Togekiss will be played more often. Alright, we got Diglett, Rowlet, Baltoy, Binzin, Armarouge, Amoonguss, Seismitoad, Dragonair, Pidgey, and a Palafin. Next we have Houndour, Tadbulb, Steenie, Wooper, Clodsire, Granbull, Malamar, Yungoos, Cryogonal, and another Geeta. Now we have a Larvesta, a Fungus, a Pidgey, a Litwick, an Arbolivo, a Team Stargrunt, an Altaria, a Finzin, a Bellybolt, which has an interesting ability called Insulator that says that it's immune to electric type moves. In an electric heavy meta, that could be interesting. Now we have Baltoy, Carvana, Lechonk, Fungus, Rumpig, another Bellybolt, Trevenant, Combee, Groomish, and a Claydol. Next we have a Yungoos, Charmander, a Dratini, an Oddish, a Mawile, which has an interesting ability that says when you play it, you can discard a special energy in play. Maybe when special energies are really big, this card could be used a lot. Uvalant, Abominable, Rockruff, Sharpedo, and Glamora. Now this Glamora EX has an interesting ability called Dustfield. That says, as long as it's in the active spot, your opponent can only have 3 benched Pokemon. And if they have more than 3, if they have 4 or 5, they have to discard until they have 3. So this card is meant to restrict your opponent And you can pair this along with cards like Temple of Sinnoh to stop them from playing special energies. And you can also pair it with, I don't know, maybe something like Tinglu, which is that as long as it's in the active spot, any cards that have damage counters and don't have abilities. And now we have Litwick, Audino, Charmander, Arctros, Migo, Ronzong, Timpole, Ronzor, Thundurus. Now we have Swablu, Glamet, Tadbulb, Lechonk, King Gambit, Oinkalone, Letter of Encouragement, which says that if a Pokemon is knocked out, you can search your deck for 2 energies. Ooh, and an Altart Ninetales. And we have a Dratini, an Oddish, a Finzin, a Herdier, a Beartic, a Charmeleon, an Excadrill, an Espeon, a Zigzagoon, and a Toxtricity. Now we have a Barboach, a Wiglet, a Squavet, a Palpitoad, a Chandelier, a Battle Cap, Patrol Cap, Blossom, Wooper, Dugtrio, and another Togekiss. Next we have a Glamet, a Rhyme, a Rockruff, a Wiglet, a Pidgeotto, a Dragonair, an Armarouge, a Zarina, a Smoliv, and a Palafin. We have a Zigzagoon, Scyther, Meltan, Charcadet, Pokemon Link Headquarters, which is an interesting card that has the effect each basic Pokemon in play has another colorless attack in their attack cost. Basically what that Seismitoad did. But it only works on basics instead of just all. We have Shuckle, Bisharp, Magneton, Timpole, Ortego, Volcarona, Altaria, Electric, Sinistea, and a Full Art Poppy. Now Poppy is a bit of an interesting card because Poppy has the effect you move up to 2 energies from your Pokemon to another one of your Pokemon. So basically if you have 2 energies on one Pokemon, you can move those 2 to another one of your Pokemon. Next we have a Pawniard, a Lillipup, a Crabrawler, a Clefairy, a Lycanroc, a Probopass, a Vengeful Punch, which says if the Pokemon's card attached to is knocked out, you put 4 damage counters on them. A Geeta and a Tyranitar. Tyranitar is a little bit interesting. It has for 1 fighting energy, Mountain Hurl, 120 damage. You discard the top 2 cards of your deck. Then it has the attack for 2 lightning energy, Lightning Rampage. And it says for 150, if any of your Pokemon have damage counters, you do a plus 100. Houndoom, Brashus, Magnezone, Surskit, Baltoy, and Darkrai. We have Kevkid, Town Store, Cryogonal, Togepi, Skarmory, Espeon, Sharpedo, Toedscool, Floatzel, and Melmetal. Melmetal's meh. It's one of those EXs that they have in there that could be good someday, but probably not. Pawniard, Sissy, Tedbulb, Numel, Crabominable, Mawile, Arven. Now, Arven is a good card in the standard format, because it lets you search your deck for an item and a tool. Ooh, and put them in your hand. Here we have a Full Art Ice Cube EX. It has the same effect as the other Ice Cube, except no special art. Just him right there, just Fire Crown. Alright, here we have a Bonsley, Dolive, Temple, Surskit, Linoon, Darmanitan, Dartrix, Bonsweet, Houndour, and Claydol. Here we have a Mawile, Togedemaru, Beaver, Lechonk, Stunfisk, Umbreon, Poppy, Lechonk, Cubchoo, and Scovillain. Scovillain is an interesting card because it has the ability Double Type, which lets it be fire and grass at the same time. And we don't have that a lot anymore. We used to have it a little bit in the old format, but not in the Scarlet and Violet format because it just kind of died away as the format went on. We have Numel, Beaver, Dynamo, Phantump, Progadier, Stunfisk, Salazzle, Varoom. Ooh, and an Altart Poppy. It just heard with Caparaja in the art. In pack, we have a Togepi, Lampent, Gloom, Bronzor, Lunatone, Dartrix, Wankalone, Palafin, and a Altart Lechonk. He's fat. We have Vulpix, Rogi, Darumaka, Buizel, Wugtrio, Kangaskhan, Wishcash, Nosepass, Oddish, and a Caesar. On our we have Snubble, Capkid, Drolber, Cubchoo, Salazzle, Lycanroc, Linoon, Crabrawler, Toadschool, and Toxtricity. Bonsweet, Magnemite, Larvesta, Rowlet, Floatzel, Umbreon, Lapras, Excadrill, Salandit, and another Entei. This is our second to last pack, so hopefully we'll get something good out of these last two. Swank, Dynamo, Surskit, Darumaka, Probopass, Skarmory, Wugtrio, Carvana, Wugtrio, another Geeta. So many Geetas. Last pack out of the box. Last pack magic. Hopefully. Here we go. Bunnelby, Smoliv, Pidgey, Combee, Noskrin, Gumshoes, Pupitar, Rhyme, Drillbur, and a Houndstone EX. Now this Houndstone is, it could be good someday. It has for its first attack, 1 second energy, a big bite, 30 damage, and the Pokemon can't retreat. And has the other attack, Last Respects, 160 damage, and then 10 more damage for each second energy for each second Pokemon in your discard pile. So here are the pulls from the Obsidian Flames booster box. Not too bad. We have four normal EXs, three alternate arts, two double gold stars, 2 double silver stars, and another silver star, and the pulls in the box are a Houndstone EX, a Glimmora EX, a Toadschool EX, a Tyranitar EX, a Ninetales Altart, a Varoom Altart, a Lechonk Altart, a Poppy Full Art, a Poppy Altart, a Geeta Full Art, an Ice Cube Full Art, and an Ice Cube Altart. especially this ice. I like all of them, especially this ice cube Ultra in particular. I just like how he's like shooting flames from his little crown. Unfortunately, we did not pull any Charizard EXs, which is the main card from this set, and also the newest archetype coming out from this set. Probably the only one too. I'll go ahead and explain what it does real quick. It has the ability Infernal Rain, which says that when you evolve it, you can go search for 3 fire energies and attach it to your Pokemon in any way you like. Basically, you can use that to power up your fire type attackers, or Charizard itself, which has the attack for 2 energies, Burning Darkness, and it does 180 plus 30 more for each prize card your opponent has taken. So, if your opponent's taken 3 prize cards, then it's hitting for 270. If they've taken 5, you're hitting for 330. That knocks out everything in this new format, because we don't have any 340 Pokemon unless they somehow find a way to make their regular basics buffer with a Bravery Charm, which makes basic have 50 more HP. But if you want to know more about Charizard, I would tune into the next video on the Peoria recap. Make sure to subscribe and hit the like button, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.